Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Walt here from Down the Block Sports, and today I want to talk about the Boston Bruins. The Boston Bruins are on a 3-game winning streak, defeating the Seattle Kraken last night 3-2 in overtime, but there's a specific player on the Bruins who is getting hot at the perfect time. What I want to talk about today is this current hot streak and who that player is and why that's important for the Boston Bruins. Again, I'm Alec Walt. This is Down the Block Sports. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more of my exclusive content. Yes, the Boston Bruins are on a 3-game winning streak, defeating the Seattle Kraken 3-2 yesterday in a game that needed overtime, and it was a huge performance from Jake DeBrusk. Jake DeBrusk scored a wrist shot in the first period, assisted by Eric Hallett and Craig Smith, and scored the OT winner on another wrist shot from Charlie Coyle and Charlie McAvoy. It was a pretty cool goal. If you look back at the highlights, DeBrusk was steaming down the ice. Grubauer tried to, close the gap between him and the short post. DeBrusk found a little opening and was able to score the goal and win the game for the Boston Bruins. Now, this isn't the only game Jake DeBrusk has really stepped up recently. He scored 4 goals in his last 3 games. He has 1 goal in each of the last 2, and he scored 2 goals in the last game against the Seattle Kraken. So you look at Jake DeBrusk right now, he's heating up. He's playing some of his best hockey at the perfect time for the Boston Bruins. Why is that? Well, one, they're fully healthy finally. I mean, Bergeron missed a couple games. Marchand missed 6 due to a suspension. They're finally back. It was nice to see them just on the ice all together. Number 2, they needed other options to start scoring. Jake DeBrusk is one of them, and he's finally starting to do that. Number 3, I kind of like this Coyle Frederick Smith line. I know if DeBrusk is no longer on the team in a couple weeks, that'll probably likely move Smith back up to the top line and then figure things out in the bottom 6. But just throwing that out there, I did really like seeing that. Yes, number 4, let's not kid ourselves here, guys. Jake DeBrusk is getting traded. I mean, he requested a trade about 6 weeks ago. They've been unable to find a trade partner before yet because, let's be real here, he's been very inconsistent, and it looks like he wants to be out of Boston to begin with. I don't look at Jake DeBrusk as a guy who has a long-term future here with the Boston Bruins, and it shouldn't surprise anyone. It's weird because he had 20-plus goals early in his career, and he's been really struggling to find the net and secure a top 6 role on this team really ever since that season. So the Bruins promoted him to a top line role yesterday. Again, I mentioned everyone was healthy. It was Patrice Bergeron, Brad Marchand, Jake DeBrusk. And what happened? Now, neither of his assists came from the 2 top dogs, just to throw that out there. But he was given a greater chance to almost showcase himself before the trade deadline. And when you look at the Bruins right now, they're not in a great salary cap situation. They do have some needs heading into this deadline. Look at Jake DeBrusk. He's someone who made over $3 million this season. Obviously, it's going to be much less when you're trading him at the trade deadline. But when you look at contracts they can move, people who aren't really long-term answers, DeBrusk is probably the top guy on the list. Now, you could throw other defensive names in there if they wanted to improve on the blue line, but for right now, it's absolutely Jake DeBrusk. And when you look at his trade value for a while, many were thinking, okay, they make it a mid to late draft pick, maybe throw him on to another asset to get someone legitimate, obviously due to the salary cap, really how much are you going to go on that rental market, because it's not like you're trading Jake DeBrusk for Phil Kessel, which I saw that rumor the other day. Kessel's cap hits way too high, people. He's not coming to the Boston Bruins. But it looked like the Bruins really weren't going to get anyone better than DeBrusk for DeBrusk. And it left them in a weird spot. They're a team that needs to add at the deadline. They're a team that's maybe a top 6, even though I don't really mind Holla playing there in the middle. Or a, top 4 defenseman away, potentially both, for being considered a true contender here in the Eastern Conference. I mean, you look at Tampa, Florida, Toronto, some of the other teams here in the East. The Bruins are going to have a pretty tough time because, 1, they're not as deep, and 2, they're a hell of a lot smaller. Now, let's be real here. That's another need at the deadline. They need some size. So for the Boston Bruins right now, who are entering a mode where they need to get the right pieces to make sure they can contend for a cup this year, and Patrice Bergeron's last year under contract, Jake DeBrusk is looking like one of those key pieces they could move to find that asset. Could it be a winger? a center, a defenseman. I personally think if they're going to go after one guy, it should be a defenseman. They need to add some size. They need to add some sub pieces, but one major move I do think should be on the defensive side. But one of the main guys they'll have to move in that deal is Jake DeBrusk. And he's starting to score some goals at the perfect time for the Boston Bruins. What do you think of Jake DeBrusk in this current hot streak? What do you think the Boston Bruins should potentially do at the deadline? Shopping a piece like Jake DeBrusk, feel free to give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more of my exclusive content. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you very soon.